Hey everybody, it's Liv and I'm back. I wanted to show you how I color a little bit. I am by no means an expert in coloring, but I really do enjoy it, and I do think that there's a couple of things that would be useful for many people to try. So one of the things that I'm going to do today is color this adorable image. It is from a digital stamp company by the name Time for Tea Designs. You can find their digital stamps on Etsy. Full disclosure, I am a design team member for them, but I wanted to kind of work on one of my projects that I'm coming up for a completed card, and I figured that this would be a good one to start with. I'm not going to be coloring the sentiment. That has to do with something else. I'm really going to just be focused on this portion. It is called Bubble Girl if you decide this is an image that you would like. One of the cool things about digital stamps is you can make them as big as you want, as small as you want, and give yourself ample room, and of course be able to merge with things. As you see with this sentiment, which is from the new release, it actually is a merging of a couple of different digital stamps as a sentiment, and then I merged a bunch of leaves around it to make a centerpiece when I make a card with this one. But tonight, I'm just going to focus on this lovely. And see how far we get. I think it would primarily be focused on skin and hair today, and then we can see what we can do with the rest. So, the markers that I will be using are E000, E00, E04, and I have a combination of sketch and chow. I don't think it particularly matters. It's just the type of brush stroke that you like. I'll be using E11, E21, and then for a little bit of blush, R20. So first I'm going to start with the skin. I do use the brush side primarily, and I start with E000, going over all of the skin first to get a nice base on it. I do constantly turn my paper when I am coloring. I do not keep it one way. Just makes it easier for me to kind of visualize what it is that I want to do with my different skin and kind of get to everything as well. This is a super light color. You're probably barely seeing it, but trust me, that base is important for your coloring. The next is I kind of use E00 to kind of start figuring out where I want some of my shadowing to be. Figuring out where my quote-unquote light source is coming from. So, for example, if this is the sun, you can get a sense from my hand where the shadows would be casted down upon her. So I kind of use that as my guide to figure out what's going to be slightly darker areas on her. Natural areas that are dark are going to be, of course, your neck, your hands, and you'll see the lights kind of coming down here on her here. This intersection over here is going to end up being a little bit darker. This one, this will be darker. And actually this side that's hitting the light, the shadow's going to probably hit that part, kind of like you see my hand do. I'm not a huge light source expert, but I do like to use it. Now this is going to look very dark when you use the E04. Do not get intimidated by that. Pulled up the wrong side. See, I found like the chow markers have the brush type and the bullet, so you really are able to get best of both out of this one as well, and usually more cost effective. So everywhere I had those shadow lines that would come, the hairline is usually naturally shadows because of the hair and how it affects it. I'll put some right here as well. A little bit on the lip. And I'm going to take this, I do it very lightly here because I'm going to blend most of this out, but it's really going to give a depth to most of my coloring. I don't know about most of you, but I just tend to find coloring very relaxing and in many ways very rewarding to see a beautiful image come together like it does. So, and as I said, this looks very, very dark, but trust me, it works out. So next you're going to take your E11 and you're going to actually blend out that E4. So the way I blend out, let's make sure you guys can see this, is I actually go into the color and pull it out. So you see how it pulls out into this area. You want to pull out the other color. It really helps blend it better. So when I say pull out, this is what I mean. You're kind of taking that color and bringing it further out. See, to go like this, it takes longer. If you pull it out, I think, one, it's easier, and two, it really does help your color kind of come out more. Again, you want to do that in all the areas that we just did it. When you have a small image, you may not need to use as much E4 because you're going to find it's hard to pull it out with small areas. Now people, when they see my work, always ask, you know, how long have I been doing this? I like, again, and by no means an expert. You'll see lots of little errors on mine. But I love to take more classes, learn more techniques, see different ways that some people who are really exceptional colors and colorers do this. Some of my favorite colorers out there are Zoe from Make It Crafty. She's fantastic, as well as I love Kit and Chowder is another fantastic color. Elise, she does great, and she also has some great classes. Zoe has some great classes as well that I truly enjoy. They are for some in depth. So if that's something you're looking to get beyond your basics, they are both great people to start with for that. Then I'm going to take my E21 and pretty much go over most of that area that I did before and start bringing it out more so that it all blends together. How do I know when it looks more blended versus color upon color? And I mean, really want it to look as smooth as I can get it. Again, if you follow the same drag down method that I was mentioning before, it makes it a lot easier to get that effect that I'm talking about. Of helping it blend out even more. Now my Copics, it took me forever to finally finish the entire collection. I finally have the entire collection. Now I have to work on getting the entire collection of refills that I do not have. So you're going to see there's still a couple of spots left open. I'm going to then take my upside down, E00, and color that area, starting from here, bringing it out. I personally do not worry too much about the eyebrows because whatever color I'm going to go with for hair will probably be darker. The only times I make a purposeful effort not to color onto the eyebrows is if I'm going for a blonde look, because that is hard to get a blonde look if you have other color base on there. But if you're going for a brown, you should be okay. I am always kind of in a little bit of a messy color. Then you're going to take your 000 and go and kind of fill in all that area. And one thing before I finish my 000 is I take my R20, that's your blush, and you want to put that kind of all along the sides of the cheeks here to really make that color pop a little. Then it blends so much easier when you're doing that. I often get asked, what paper do I use? There are one paper in particular that I use just because it's so easy for me to get. That's going to be the Crafted Companion paper. They sell it at AC Moore, which is local to me. So, fantastic perk. So now you see my skin is pretty much all done. There isn't much more for me to do with that. But I wanted to give you an idea of how I do my skin. It is a lot of colors, but that's just one skin set. I'll try to come back with a different skin set color that I use, so you can try to get some concepts of different skin types that you may be trying to get in different skin type colors. All right. Hope you enjoyed this video and gave you some ideas of how I color and some technique that you can use as well. Have a good night. Take care.